Well, hello there, time travelers, and welcome new time travelers. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, come along as we start in 1788. On this day in 1788, Arthur Phillip, who had sailed into what is now Sydney Cove with a load or shipload of convicts, hoisted the British flag and established the first permanent European settlement on the continent of Australia. Moving on to 1837, when Michigan became the 26th U.S. state admitted to the Union. Douglas MacArthur, the U.S. general who commanded the Southwest Pacific Theater in World War II, administered post-war Japan during the Allied occupation that followed, and led UN forces during the first 9 months of the Korean War, was born in 1880. Just 5 short years later, in 1885, British General Charles George Gordon and other defenders of Kawautam were killed by Mahathers. In 1825, American actor Paul Newman, whose good looks and charisma helped make him an enduring screen presence in the second half of the 20th century, was born. In 1938, Valencia was bombed by nationalists. The 125 casualties included the captain of Dover Castle, which was anchored in the port. Moving on to 1942, when the first U.S. exploratory force to land in Europe during World War II reached Ireland. In 1946, Ahmed Ghanem Savana was named Premier of Iran by 52 to 51 vote in the Iranian parliament. 4 years later, India became a republic, achieving full independence from Great Britain in 1950. Just 2 years later, in 1952, all of Egypt was placed under martial law after mobs wrecked many British, U.S., and French businesses placed in Cairo, which makes me think of the one episode of MacGyver where they say that they never talk about Cairo. Anyway, that's a different story. In 1958, American comedian and television host Ellen DeGeneres, who is known for her quirky observational humor, was born. On this day in 1962, Lucky Luciano, who was the most powerful chief of American organized crime in the early 1930s and was deported to his native country, Italy, in 1946, passed at the age of 65. On this day in 1970, President Richard M. Nixon voted as inflationary the 1970 appointments for departments of labor and health, education, and welfare. In 1988, Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera, a musical version of Gaston Lecs' melodramatic novel, opened in New York City and went on to become the longest-running show in Broadway history. I remember when in school, when I was in choir, now this is going back to when I was in middle school, we did a couple of pieces of Andrew Lloyd Webber's songs, one of which was Phantom of the Opera. God, I remember that. Anyway, now moving forward to this century, in 2001, a massive earthquake struck near Bauji, Gorwant, India, killing more than 20,000 people and causing extensive damage. In 2013 brought us a court verdict in Egypt that sentenced 21 Port Said Association football, American soccer fans to death for their role in a February 2012 soccer riot that left 74 people dead, ignites massive violent riots in Port Said, in which at least 30 people were killed. 4 years ago, American basketball player Kobe Bryant, who is considered one of sports' greatest players, winning 5 NBA championships with the Los Angeles Lakers, tragically lost his life in a helicopter crash at the age of 41. And with this, we return to 2024 and our current history. Let's see what this year has in store for us. Until then.